Laurel at nina Administrator Lacson, nung tayo'y bagong talagang chairman ng Committee on Agriculture, na pag-usapan natin na prioridad ang pag-amyenda ng rice tariffication measure. Sinunod natin ito sa pagpupulong kasama ni Presidente Marcos Jr. sa Malacanang at sinang-ayunan niya ang pangangailangan na masertipika na urgent itong pag-amyenda sa rice tariffication measure. Sa pakikipagtulungan ng Executive Department at ng Legislative Department, nagkausap na rin kami ni Congressman Mark Enverga, Bigtang, ng Committee on Agrarian Reform sa Congress at nagkasundo na rin kami na kinakailangang isaayos yung rice tariffication law, amendahan, i-revisahin para matugunan itong mga problemang ito. Dagdag dito, hindi pa man na ipapasa ang rice tariffication measure, sa susunod marahil na 2 linggo, ilalabas na ng Pangulo ang executive order para magkaroon ng minimum floor price ng palay pag gobyerno ang bumibili direkta sa ating mga magsasaka sa ilalim ng Sagip-Saka Act, yung Republic Act 11321. May minimum floor price sa wet, may minimum floor price sa dry. At ihihikayatin ang mga pamahalang pambansang ahensya, pamahalang lokal na mga local government units, ngayong panahon ng anihan na bumili direkta sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda. So we are pushing for the executive order issuance. 2 actually yon, at pumayag din ang Executive Department sa pagpupulong with President Marcos Jr. Yung unang EO is setting a minimum floor price sa pag-purchase ng gobyerno ng palay, which does not, of course, prevent ang ating LGUs sa mga lugar na maaari at may kapasidad na ibenta yung bigas, bibilin ng direkta rin ang bigas sa ating mga magsasaka sa tamang presyo. At yung pangalawang EO ay yung full implementation ng Sagip-Saka Act para lahat ng ahensya ng pamahalaan na may kinalaman sa food security, pagbibili ng pagkain, pagbibili ng produktong agrikultura, ay minamandatong bumili direkta, mga ospital, mga provincial city jail, mga cafeteria ng mga state universities, ay makikipag-ugnayan na sa mga farmers and fisher folk organizations para direktang bilhin itong usapin ng agriculture products sa tamang presyo. So yung 2 EO na yon, hopefully within the month, ay mai-issue na, tututukan natin. So sa tulong ng mga katuwang sa pamahalaan, pribadong sektor at mga magsasaka mismo, sama-sama nating itatag ang mga reformang magpapatibay sa kinabukasan ng agrikultura, pagsasaka at kabuhayan ng bawat Pilipino. We can now proceed. Okay. Do we have an order of the presentations? Okay. So may presentation ng DA. Sige, so Yusek Morales, you have the floor. Go ahead. After which we can get the presentations. Please limit your presentation to 5 minutes, more or less. And then we will have the others, resource persons. PIDS and FFF. Okay. And kung meron pang ibang nais magbigay ng opening statement, we will just acknowledge you and recognize you as we go along. Go ahead, Yusek Morales.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the members of this joint committee hearing. Allow me to present yung core reforms and provisions of the latest draft na binubuo po ng department. So this is a proposed measure to seeks to repeal and replace RA 112 or 203 to correct its adverse effects on farmers and rice security. It aims to restore government responsibility in ensuring price stability, farmers' protection, and rice self-sufficiency while institutionalizing the Philippine Rice Industry Development Program. So naramdaman naman natin yung, although there are minimal impact on the industry's yield and beneficiaries of the RCEP program, ramdam naman natin ngayon naging impact niya sa farmers, especially on our farmers' income na talagang naapektuhan po sila. There are 6 core reforms and provisions na pinupropose ang department. Una is to end the current liberalized import regime and establishes a managed rice trade system where imports are calibrated to complement, not displace local production. Ibig sabihin, sabi ni Sec nung ating budget hearing, kung ano lang yung pangangailangan tulad dati, yun lang yung i-allow po nating pumasok dito para po hindi maapektuhan yung pagtulong natin na maging competitive ang ating mga local farmers, rice farmers, and our local industry. At isa sa pinaka-importanting proposal, reforms and provisions ay yung pag-restore ng core mandate ng NFA on its role in domestic palay procurement. So hindi lang po i-restore yung role, but also palakasin pa yung kakayahan nila, no? In terms of investments in post-harvest facilities like drying and warehousing and storage, buffer stock, and more importantly, market stabilization with importation allowed only as a last resort by the government. And also, doon sa proposal, isa sa pinupropose po ng team, ng rice team ng DA is to establish a Philippine Rice Industry Development Program as the National Rice Roadmap, integrating yung National Rice Program, Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund or RCEF, and some activities of PhilRice, ATI, and LGU initiatives into a unified strategy, thereby creating a coordinating office, the Rice Industry Competitiveness Enhancement Office, which will serve as the policy and program secretariat, ensuring convergence of DA, NFA, and other implementing agencies under the PRIDP or the Philippine Rice Industry Development Program. And also on rice tariff and safeguard mechanism, we seek to authorize the President upon DA or NEDA or DepDeb recommendation to adjust tariffs, suspend imports, or impose safeguard measures to stabilize prices and protect our farmers. And in view of the creation of PRIDP, the consolidate a rice industry development fund to consolidate tariff collections, NFA income, and GA allocations to finance the PRIDP priorities on high-quality seeds, mechanization, inputs, and buffer stock operations.
PRIDP?
Philippine Rice Industry Development Program.
Yan yung combination ng RCEF tsaka ng rice program?
Yes, sir. It's an industry-wide overall program. I think our National Sectoral Committee on Rice already presented it to the Secretary and was approved yung 2020, I think 2026 to 2031 PRIDP program, sir. I think that's all, sir. Unless Admin Larry will present.
That's it? Okay. Who is next?
PIDS.
Philippine Institute for
For Development Studies.
Go ahead. May I have your name, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Roel Briones.
Go
Yes.
ahead, sir. Go ahead. Are you a professor, undersecretary?
I am a senior research fellow at the PIDS, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And
Yes.
do you teach?
I used to teach, Senator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Briones. You have the floor.
All right. So there's numerous issues that were touched upon in the Senate bill and the two resolutions for the agenda of this hearing, I decided to limit my personal comments to the policy of setting a floor price for palay. And I understand that the chair's opening remarks also referred to a floor price, but only for purchases made by government. But this, I think, the provisions in the Senate bill pertain to an actual prohibition of setting prices below a mandated floor price. And I have some comments about that. So first is, of course, there is a sound motivation for setting a floor price of palay. I think kabisado na siguro natin itong mga statistics na ito na talagang pababa yung presyo ng palay, lalo nung nagkaroon ng tariff cut last year, mid-last year, tapos sinabayan ng pagbukas ng India ng kanyang pagluwas ng bigas. So bumagsak din yung presyo sa pandaigdigang merkado. Although napansin natin, slightly nung August na-announce yung import suspension, medyo bumawi. This is the latest figures. Pero baka naman, nasundan ng tuloy pang pagbaba. I don't have the more latest update. So this is a 31% drop, no, from June 2024 to July 2025. Next. Now, matagal na
What is
siguro.
the 31% drop in palay prices?
This is palay other variety
Yeah.
of based on PSA, farm gate price data.
So 31% drop from?
Hindi ko po masyadong makita yung malabo na po yung mata ko pero
January.
January
Tw-
June 2024 to July
June.
2020.
June. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
So, matagal na napag-uusapan itong mga floor price at meron na tayong experience, even in this country, about the operation of floor prices. Sa buong agrikultura, meron lang isang commodity na nagpa-practice consistently ng floor price. This is under PD 627 of 1974. This is tobacco. Tapos, outside of agriculture, meron din tayong floor price policy sa wages. Doon naman sa larangan ng manggagawa. So, if you look at these two floor price setups, merong common elements siya. If you look at the statute na established each of these schemes, no? Meron siyang flexibility, meron siyang tripartite price setting. Halimbawa, dun sa tobacco, it's the government represented by the National Tobacco Authority. Tapos yung farmers, the producers of the tobacco. And then the buyers, represented by the cigarette manufacturers, the dealers, and the exporters. Sa larangan naman ng manggagawa, yung minimum wage setting is, ang tripartite dyan is the government, the minimum wage board, worker representative, and employers representative. Tapos yan by region, so geographically dispersed. Sa tobacco kasi medyo concentrated yung production, no, sa Northern Luzon. So, hindi naman kailangan ng regional setup. So, with both of these features, we can ensure that price setting is realistic and consistent with, okay, so, pasensya na po sa medyo jargon with what we call market clearing. Ibig sabihin lang yan, nandun yung presyo kung saan more or less yung supply magmamatch sa demand. Kasi batay sa economic theory, pag ang presyo ay masyadong mababa, magkakaroon tayo ng shortage. Tapos pagka naman masyadong mataas, magkakaroon tayo ng surplus. So we would expect, kung hinayaan natin yung pag-operate ng merkado, mag-correct siya. Pagka may shortage, tataas yung presyo. Pagka may surplus, bababa yung presyo. So next slide please. So, hindi lang naman palaging matagumpay ang patakarang based on experience, no, based on previous studies, no. When does a price control fail? When it involves prolonged and significant divergence between the mandated price and yung realistic or market clearing price. And it's fairly well known, and then this latest study from World Bank reviews all of the vast literature na price controls, especially sa experience ng mga planned economies and then yung mga even mixed economies that try to implement this. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas, no? This is a worldwide consistent experience. na if you have that kind of price control, prolonged and significant divergence between statutory and market clearing price, you can cause, depending on the nature of the price control, chronic shortages of these goods. Formation of parallel markets, so yung palagi natin naririnig na black market, na ini-ignore na lang yung government policy, no? Substitution towards lower quality alternatives. And the producers of price-controlled goods turn to black markets which lack basic regulation. So, wala lahat ng mga food safety, animal welfare checks, and all of this, no? And more or less encourages production to shift to firms in the informal sector. And actually, we do have an experience. Hindi naman ito price floor, price ceiling, September 2023, 2 years ago. Next slide. Nakikita naman natin, this is now the retail price of rice, no? The green is the well-milled, the violet yata yan, is the regular milled. Tapos nung tumataas, nagkaroon ng executive order to impose a price ceiling respectively for these varieties of 45 and 42. Di ko memorize. 45 and 42. So that was imposed nung September, and within September, the recorded price ng PSA is way above that, the 50 plus and then the 40 plus, no? That you can see in the chart. Tapos, hindi lang yon, maraming nagreklamong mga retailer because they're buying daw at a wholesale na luging-lugi na sila pag ibibenta nila dun sa controlled price. So nagkaroon pa ng additional amelioration from the Sustainable Livelihood Program, DSWD, 15,000 per retailer sa mga umaangal na mga retailer. Tapos sa latest figures na nakalap ko, something like almost 400 million yung nagastos. But fortunately, well, I would say fortunately, na-realize ito and then we withdraw yung price ceiling. And well, hindi naman natin, bumaba yung pressure. It's not because we withdraw yung price ceiling. It's because napansin na rin ng mga policymaker na hindi na ganun ka-necessary yung price ceiling kasi pupasok na yung ani for that year. So, and then you can see the reduction. And we have quickly realized that this may not be a very realistic policy after performing that 1-month experiment. Next. So this is a lesson from experience, and it is a lesson that we should take to heart, that floor prices or price controls in general can work if flexible and based on negotiation of the stakeholders involved, government, farmers, buyers, so that you can have a more realistic price setting responding to changing market conditions. But in practice, as we saw in the price ceiling example for retail, it is difficult to enforce. It creates winners and losers, so like the retailers, the losers. And depending on how prolonged and how far from realistic price it is, it introduces unsustainable distortion in the market. Yun na nga. So, medyo, you can see the policy, no? Nag-impose ng price control, may nasaktan, kumuha ng taxpayer funds para bayaran yung mga nasaktan. So in the end, binawi lahat so that everything medyo back to normal, no? Even though mataas pa rin yung presyo ng sa retail. Let us note the language of Section 25 of RA 7607, which gives mandate for price support on at least for rice and corn, but it has 2 conditions. A, that the price support established shall not result in the increase in the retail price of such products beyond the paying capacity of the average consumer. And B, that the government shall also endeavor to set farm gate prices that respond to changing economic conditions. Yan lang po, Mr. Chair. Salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. Briones. We now proceed with
The Federation of Free Farmers sent their presentation earlier, but they haven't arrived yet.
Oh, they haven't arrived. Andyan na ba ang Federation of Free Farmers? Oh, yun.
Darating.
Yes, Mr. Montemayor, you will now present your We'll give you 1 minute to catch your breath, sir.
Hindi, okay lang, Senator. Thank you for the invitation. Medyo na-traffic sa ulan. But I
Yes,
wanted to...
you submitted actually your
Point presentation
PowerPoint
earlier.
presentation.
Opo, meron akong
So we can now, are you ready to make the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
can we ask the secretariat, please? There you go. Go ahead, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, sige, sa next slide na. First, yung situation sa nangyari ngayon, ano, if you can show the, I sent something this morning, kung pwede yun ang ipakita natin. Okay, but anyway, this is the one I sent. Kung pwede yung pinadala ko this morning.
Can you first confirm that you received it? Did we receive it? So you have it now? Okay. Is this the one? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so yung next slide please. Okay, ito yung nangyari po sa atin from 2023. You will notice there's starting late 2023 and then 2024, sumipa yung presyo ng imports, yung blue line, no? And sumunod yung retail prices, tumaas. And then in July 2024, to address that problem, binabaan yung taripa to 15% from 35%. So you will see there's a rapid decline in import prices, no? At sumabay yung palay. That's the reason why ang baba ng palay ngayon. Kasi napakamura yung imported. You can see in the latest report of PSA, 15.60 na ang presyo ng palay. Clean and dry na po yun. Ang equivalent yan sa fresh palay, mga 12. No? But you can also see the retail prices did not follow the import prices. No? Pumabasa ng konti, pero lumaki yung gap between the import price and the retail price. No? Yan po ang problema natin. No? Yung sinasabi ng mga ekonomista, pag binabaan mo yung tariff, bababa yung presyo ng bigas kasi magko-compete daw yung mga trader hanggang bumaba. It doesn't happen in our market. No? Parang guni-guni yung ganong theory pagdating sa Pilipinas. No? So,
Bakit?
Kasi they capture the benefits from the lower tariff is captured by the people in the middle. No? Ipakita ko yung next slide po. This is data coming from PSA and BOC. Hindi po yan anecdotal data. We evaluate the data that is official data. And you will see that noong January to June 2024, yun yung peak ng price spike. No? The retail prices at that time for well-milled rice reached 56 pesos per kilo. No? Pagdating ng ngayon sa 2025, the retail prices of rice are about 50 pesos per kilo. So mga 5 to 6 pesos lang ang binaba ng retail price. No? But look at the import cost. Yung CIF, that is the cost of imports from Vietnam, dadalhin dito, freight, magbabayad ng tariff. The FOB, the CIF price of imports, or well-milled price, decreased by almost 13 pesos per kilo. No? Ibig sabihin, nagmura po yung import. No? And then since binabaan natin yung taripa from 35 to 15%, the tariff went down by 643. So the total reduction in the import cost from the peak in January to June 2024 up to now was about 20 pesos. Pero yung binaba ng retail, wala pang 7 piso. No? So saan napunta yung 13 pesos? It went, hindi ko matukoy, importer ba o trader, maybe a little bit sa retailer, but definitely not to the consumer. Konti lang yung nabigay. Of the 20 pesos almost, na pagbaba ng presyo ng imported rice, ang nabigay lang sa consumer is only about 6 pesos. No? So this, I think, is a lesson. No? Kasi yung response ng gobyerno ay dapat itukoy doon sa ugat ng problema. O kasi when the government responds to this type of problem by distributing subsidized rice, that is not the solution. The solution is to address the profiteering that is happening in the middle. No? 20 pesos yung binaba ng presyo ng imported. Bakit 6 pesos lang ang binaba ng retail?
Can you point out here in the graph the 20 peso drop? Where
Yan
is it?
pong under import cost, yung column ng total.
Okay, total.
so-
From 39, naging 45, and now from 45, not now.
No,
2024, 45. Pagdating ng 2025, 26.
Yes.
So
And,
there is the 20 peso gap. Drop.
yung last line po,
19.
that is the comparison between
wait.
the January to June 2024 average. No? Yan yung sukdulan nung price spike. That was a time na talagang may crisis.
Okay.
And we compare it to the average in this year, January to September.
So you're saying from January to June 2024 to January to September 2025, the imported rice has dropped by 20 pesos.
Yes.
And this is well-milled, 5%
Well-milled
pro-
po. Well-milled. Well-milled.
So it has dropped by 20 pesos, and yet retail prices are still what? Dropped by 6 pesos.
6 pesos, yes. Kung merong perfect transmission, dapat yung 20 pesos na yon nabigay dun sa consumer. Di ba? Patas, pareho lang kita nila. Hindi naman bumaba yung kita nila. Pero naibaba dapat ng ganung almost that amount. Pero hindi. No? Ang yumaman yung nasa gitna. No? And the wholesale price here is from the PSA database is the wholesale selling price. No? So it does not say how much did the wholesaler get that rice from the importer.
Okay.
Yung po ang sigurong tignan ng PSA. No? Pero between the importer, alam natin yung cost niya, and then yung wholesaler, alam natin magkano niya binenta sa retailer, yan po yung presyong yan. No? Baka naghatian sila. No? And then yung retailer, nagpatong din ng, kasi yung wholesaler, pinasa niya sa retailer ng 8 pesos lower, pero yung retailer, binenta niya 6 pesos lower. So, nagbalato na rin yung retailer ng 2 piso. No? But the lesson is, in the end, hindi masyadong nakinabang yung consumer. No? So that is, I think, when we talk about amending RTL or talking about NFA, how do we address this type of problem? No? And ang masama pa rito, in the process, pumagsak din ang presyo ng palay. Kawawa rin farmer, hindi masyadong nakinabang yung consumer. Naku, tuwan-tuwa yung mga nasa gitna. They are running to the bank. No? With all this saving. Billions po ang involved dito. No? So, with that background, I just wanted to show some proposals on.
On the issue of billions, no? May mga articles kasi na sinasabi na sa presyo ng palay ngayon, ano ang loss ng farmer? Sabihin mo ng, di ba, as low as 8 up to, sabi ninyo, 14?
Well, PSA data po, no?
Yes.
In September, the average farm gate price was 15.60 per kilo. September.
Okay.
That's last month, no?
Okay.
And then in 2024, they have another data, yung cost and returns from palay. Average cost of palay production is about 14.50 per kilo. Mababa pa nga siguro yan eh. Pero sige na lang, official data yun eh. So ang margin ng farmer, mga piso na lang per kilo. No? And ang average harvest niya, mga 4.3 tons. So ang kinikita niya sa isang hektarya, 4,300 pesos net. No?
Okay.
How can he survive with that going into the next season? No? 3-4 months
May
away.
figurang binanggit based, I don't know what was the basis, pero 250 billion ang nawala sa bulsa ng mga magsasaka. If you can help us go through that amount. Not now, but kasi may mga data. So we'd like to know, dito sa drop ng palay prices, year on year maybe, since 2000, mas maganda sana, since the RTL, ano yung naging aggregate loss ng mga magsasaka na hindi napunta na sa bulsa nila at kung saan na napunta. No? Para maliwanag din kasi yun ang strictly speaking na yung PIDS nandito, di ba? Meron silang policy paper na may mawawalan ng kita ang farmer, kaya ang isa sa mga intervention ay dapat cash, direktang cash support. So para malaman natin kung cash support yan, dapat hindi malayo dun sa naging lugi nila. Kasi kung ito ang nawala sa kanilang bulsa, dapat yung cash support na sinasabi ng PIDS sa pasa ng RTL, dapat may cash support dahil given mawawalan ng kita ang farmer dahil sa pagpasok ng imported na bigas, magkano yun? Kasi ngayon sinasabi, 7,000 per farmer. Kung di ba? Parang, di ba? Hindi commensurate dun sa loss. Di ba? At kung hindi commensurate dun sa loss, wag na natin sisisihin yung farmer kung sa susunod na planting season, hindi na magtatanim.
Sa akin, Senator, medyo iba yung takbo ng isip ko eh. Kaya kasi nalulugi yung farmer dahil bumabagsak yung presyo ng palay, di ba?
Yes.
But if we are able to manage imports well, maybe the palay price will not go down very much. Hindi kailangan ng ayuda. Kasi
No,
yung
I
presyo-
understand. I
Yes,
understand.
Opo.
Stopgap yun eh.
Okay.
Kasi sabi, actually yung PIDS recommendation ng cash was stopgap. In fact, may timetable pa ata, dapat 5 taon. Habang ine-enhance yung competitiveness na hindi naman mangyayari kaagad, dapat merong ganong stopgap. So I understand na strategically talagang hindi ayuda ang kailangan, di ba? Suporta sa minimum price halimbawa, establishment. Dahil ang pagkaintindi ko rin, sa India at sa Thailand, mayroong ganung patakaran na mayroong floor. No? But anyway, sige, please, continue.
Sige po. Well, on that topic nga, ang gusto kong i-contribute sa discussion ngayon is, how can we better manage supply and imports para hindi masyadong sisipa yung presyo ng bigas, hindi rin masyadong babagsak yung presyo ng palay, no? And the government comes in only in extreme situations, no? Okay, so yung next slide po. Let me explain a little bit about the minimum access volume as a tool to do this, no? Sige po, next. Sa commitment po natin sa WTO, we were required to tarify rice, no? Open up the market. And our, maybe yung next slide na lang. Ganyan po. 3 klaseng tariff yung itinalaga ng RTL. One is the MFN tariff. This is the tariff that we apply to all WTO members, no? When we tarified, we computed the tariff equivalent to 198%. No? Dapat 198 yung MFN, pero ang ginawa ng gobyerno, sinet to 50. They retained the previous MFN tariff of 50 instead of first at 198, then bring it down to 50. Anyway, MFN, papasok yung imports at 50%. Unlimited volume po yan. To the extent that they want to bring it in, we cannot stop it. No? Yung ATIGA rate, yan ay 35%. Yan ay commitment natin under the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement. It's lower than the MFN. Kaya you will see that between 2019 and up to recently, halos lahat ng imports natin pumapasok under ATIGA kasi mababa yung tarifa and consistent supplier yung Vietnam at saka Thailand sa atin. So halos lahat yan pupunta. Yung MAV,
Mas mababa din ang logistics.
mababa rin ang logistics and also presyo. No? So karamihan ang nagagaling sa MFN, yung India, Pakistan, a little bit of mga specialty rice from Italy, for example, or Japan. No? Yung MAV, sinasabi ng WTO rules, okay, pwede ka magtalaga ng mataas na MFN kasi sensitive product yung rice. Pero pumayag ka naman na magpapasok ng limited volume, minimum access volume, mas mababa ang taripa. No? So 40% yung tariff ng MAV, no? As against 50% or even potentially 198%. No import so far from MAV. Bakit? Hindi pa ginagawa yung guidelines up to now. No? Nasa batas yun ng RTL na dapat maggawa ng MAV guidelines for rice. 7 taon na wala pa hong guidelines. No? So that's one thing we have to work on because that is the tool that we can use. No? So next slide po. Okay, then pagdating ng
Why will they use that?
Ay-
Assuming you have the guidelines. Mas mataas pa rin yung tariff kumpara doon sa ATIGA.
Yes, I will explain po.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So nung March 2021, nagkaroon ng executive order 135, pinantay, I think the one before this. Yan. Pinantay yung MFN to the ATIGA rate at 35% because the explanation then was wag tayo masyadong dependent sa ATIGA, sa ASEAN. Let's diversify our sources and encourage non-ASEAN suppliers. No? Pakistan, India. Dumami naman ang imports natin in volume, pero as a percentage, hindi rin umepekto yung move na yan. And sabi namin, it will not work and it will just lead to tariff losses. No? Pero yan ang gusto ng finance, so pinagpatuloy nila. And then, as you can see, most of the imports still came from ATIGA. Next po. And then ito na yung EO63. Binagsak yung MFN to 15. No? And syempre, pati yung mga Vietnam at Thailand, hindi sila papasok dito under ATIGA. Lahat bumaling sa MFN at 15%. No? So EO63 actually did not change the ATIGA rate. It just put down the MFN rate to 15%. Okay naman yung intention kasi tumataas ka yung presyo sa international. That was the time na may El Nino, then nag-import-export ban yung India, tumataas yung international, and because of that, tumataas na yung retail price domestically. No?
Umangat ng hanggang $720
Yes.
dollars per metric ton, di ba?
But one thing I noticed is the government acted by bringing down the tariff 6 months late. No? Makikita nyo sa graph kanina, late 2023, early 2024, ang taas na ng presyo ng imported. No? Pero they acted July 2024, no? 6 months late. And dyan pumasok ngayon yung, and then as I said, kahit na binaba ang tariff, ang kumain ng malaking portion ng savings, hindi naman consumer, yung mga retailer sa gitna. No? And the big problem with MFN tariffs is you cannot limit the volume. It's unlimited imports. No? Kaya nung binabaan yung tariff, tapos nagmura pa ang imported, dumagsa ang ating imports. Last year, 4.7 million tons. No? This year, mga magti 3.4 million tons na despite the ban. No? Siyempre, napakamura yung imported, mabibenta nila at so much margin. No? Eh, sino ba namang negosyante hindi aatras dyan? No? Ang problema, when the imports come in, although the retail price is very high, the imports are initially sold at the wholesale market. No? At yung wholesale market na yan, dyan nagsasalubong yung local rice. No? So the palay from the farms is milled and then sent to the wholesale market where they have to compete with the imports. No? Kaya there is no relation between retail prices and farm gate. Ang dapat bantayan natin yung wholesale. No? Next slide. Ito yung suggestion ko. No? Next slide. Okay. So, anong pwedeng gawin? No? Unang-una, itaas mo yung MFN. No? Kasi unlimited yan eh. No? We have the leeway to bring it up all the way to 198%. So nobody will import under MFN window. No? And then kung gusto natin ibaba yung tariff to 15%, yung MAV tariff ang ibaba natin. No? Kasi sa MAV, our commitment to the WTO is 350,000 tons only at 40% tariff. No? There is nothing to stop us from increasing the MAV to, let's say, 2 million tons. No? Ang importante sa MAV kasi is hawak mo yung volume ng MAV. You can increase, decrease, you can indicate from where the MAV imports will come. Napaka-flexible po, sir, yung MAV. If there is already too much in the market, then you stop issuing MAV licenses. No? So,
What is the procedure to increase it, for example, to 1.5 million?
yun po siguro ang ilalagay nyo sa legislation so that it is a very dynamic or a very flexible thing.
But right now, legislation provides
50,000
50,000
at 40%.
This is the current.
Yes, sir. So, dapat gagawa tayo ng parang patakaran na
Why did they set 350,000?
yun yung from the historical map natin eh. No? But when we tarified, hindi na nabago yun. So yan.
Okay.
Of course, there is still Atiga, which is also unlimited. No? Pero kung 15% yung MAV, pati yung mga Vietnam, dyan papasok sa MAV natin. No? So, you are effectively guiding all the imports towards the MAV, which is the way you manage the imports.
But what you're saying is, if we go through MFN or Atiga, we have no choice but to just issue the SP6, the sanitary fight. Walang limit yan. But if we avail of the MAV as a mechanism to monitor, to regulate the entry, may limit.
Yes. Nasa kamay natin yung limit. No? Kasi our only commitment is 350,000 tons. Eh. Beyond that, it's a unilateral concession on our part. We can decide how to handle it. No?
Okay.
Opo. So, kaya yung ginawa nilang gobyerno na import ban, although we support it and we understand, bawal po yun sa WTO. No? We are inviting disputes and retaliation from our trading partners. Maybe not now, no? But if we continue that up to next year or the following years, sigurado ko kakasuhan tayo sa WTO. No? And pag bumawi sila sa atin, hindi lang bigas ang babawi-bawi nila. Ibang products na ine-export natin sa kanila, sabihin nila, harvest time din sa amin eh. No? Wala tayong... so, ang point ko lang is, it's a good, well-intentioned move, but there might be more legal ways to do it. No? Kasi kung gusto natin pigilan yung imports, edi wag ka mag-issue ng MAB license. Di ba? Stop mo yung issuance ng license. We can do that for volumes over 350,000 tons. But our deficit is 2.5 million tons. Yeah. So walang-wala yung minimum requirement natin. Okay po. So, yun na po. Actually, this is what, kung narinig nyo si Trump, he was complaining about the Canadian tariffs on milk na 250%. No? Ito yung ginagawa ng Canada. Actually, yung MAP tariff nila, 0%. Pero may volume yon. If you start importing beyond that volume, pasok ka sa MFN, 250% yon. No. So parang kwan yun, technique nila yun to manage supply using the MAP system. No.
What is the dev? Could you give us your position paper on this this position taken by the FFF?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we will submit our position paper. We are taking notes of all suggestions that have been mentioned here, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, because ang diskusyon kasi ngayon, kayo ang ayaw magpaakyat ng ibalik sa 35% yung taripa ng bigas, imported na bigas. So I'd like to know your justification as to why you want it maintained at 15% and why until 2028. Parang I don't understand. You know, I can understand you declared a rice emergency. You mean to say we will have a rice emergency until 2028? I think the people deserve a exhaustive position from the economic managers. No? And I understand, I think, October, sabi ni Secretary RC, magkakaroon na ng review nung 15% tariff imposition at base sa posisyon ng DA na gustong gradual ibalik sa 35%. October na. Baka naman yun yung magiging response. No? I don't know. But we hope to be able to get that as soon as possible. Ako simple lang eh. Bakit hanggang 2028? Sabi nung iba, trabaho ng tamad. Kasi mas madaling i-monitor, mas madaling implementahin. Of course, ang justification dahil kailangan talagang pababain ang presyo ng bigas, di ba? Naintindihan ko 'yun, pero ganun na nga ba? May rice emergency hanggang 2028? Unless, of course, iba ang dahilan ninyo. Di sabihin ninyo. People deserve to know the real reasons behind why you want to keep it at 15%. Diba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will submit our position paper. I believe there was a meeting held yesterday regarding this, and we confirm, Mr. Chairman, that the Secretary committed to submit the review or finish the review by mid-October 2025. For the body's information, Mr. Chairman, regarding the 15% tariff, I think there was a meeting with the President where the Secretary actually suggested between 20 to 25% and not really 15%. So it was not DepDev who recommended the 15%.
I'm sorry, it was not
DepDev who recommended 15%, Mr. Chairman.
the original proposal was 20 to 25?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. From DepDev, Mr. Chairman.
I know, but who said 15?
We were not aware of any recommendation of 15%, Mr. Chairman, from DepDev.
How is that? Your economic managers recommended 20 to 25, but Malacanang decided 15?
Mr. Chairman, of course, the economic team is composed of DepDev, DOF, and DBM. But during the discussions, DepDev's recommendation was at 20 to 25%. So I guess during the meeting, they came up with 15%.
Well, I don't like, I guess. I want to know. And the people deserve to know.
Yes, we will include it in our position, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
please. And is the DOF here? Could you explain that? Well, what happened there? If DepDev said 20 to 25%, well, how did the 15% become the final decision?
Sir, from what I understand, this was actually during the discussion of the NEDA board. So we'll check on the minutes of the NEDA board and have it included in our position paper as well.
Yes, please. And can you give us the minutes as well of the NEDA board meeting? No? When can you submit? We intend to sponsor this measure in November, so we need your position papers ASAP.
For DepDev, Mr. Chairman, we will submit next week.
Thank you.
We're actually for clearance lang yung position paper namin, sir, pero we'll have to include also the questions raised today. So we'll need next week as well. Thank you.
Well, you can give us whatever you're cleared to give us, and then you can submit the position paper as to our question today next week. Di ba? Pwede naman yun, di ba? Yeah, para whatever you have, we can already start, kasi magte-technical working group na eh. So we need to prepare for that. And we need to get the material as soon as we can. And then to follow na lang yung susunod. Okay, thank you. Sige po, tuloy po ninyo.
Okay, so this one will address a situation where rice prices are going up, import prices are going up, and we have to reduce the tariff. So ganyan po, no? Pero control natin yung volume through the map, no? Kasi ang nangyari nga ngayon, ang binabaan natin yung MFN at 15%, wala tayong control sa volume, dumagsa yung imports, bumagsak ang presyo ng palay, no? Now, when the situation is reversed and we have too much supply in the market already, the first step is stop issuing MAB licenses, di ba? Okay, so kasi hawak natin yung MAB, yung volume, no? So babaling ngayon yung mga importer sa Atiga. No? Hindi sila pupuntang FFN, ang taas eh, no? Sa Atiga, no? So indirectly, without lifting a finger, parang tinaasan na natin yung tariff, di ba? Kasi instead of going to 15% MAB, stop licenses, they now have to go through Atiga at 35%. No? So parang, I don't know, suggestion lang naman ito. No,
Well, it's what you're trying to say. Correct me if I understand it, no? If I don't understand correctly, but what you're trying to say here is because of the, how do you call it? Malikot yung merkado. Kailangan mabilis kumilos, mabilis magdesisyon, mabilis ang adjustment,
Yes.
di ba? Ng gobyerno.
Yes.
Di ba? And you are saying with the MAV, we will be more flexible. We will be more nimble. We will be able to intervene quickly.
Bakit?
Hindi itong nagpas siya ng 35%, binaba ng 15 nung June, late na pumasok, tapos nung bumagsak na presyo sa world market, nakaipit pa rin doon, nakatali pa rin doon. So, in the meantime, ayan, bumabagsak ang presyo ng palay, hindi naghihintay tayong lahat. Diba?
Yung proseso po kasi sa tariff adjustment, mahaba. No? May petition, tariff commission hearing, CTRM meeting, NEDA board meeting, and then eventually executive order. No? Kung susundin natin ngayon yan, tapos na ang ani by the time you decide.
Which probably explains bakit 6 months late. Nung $720 per metric ton ang world market prices, naka-35 tayo. Di ba? Tapos nung bumagsak na, I don't know the record, no? But nung bumagsak na yung world market prices, tsaka natin binaba sa 15.
Well,
I mean, relatively, pababa na. Di ba?
yeah.
In an ideal situation, dapat doon sa 720, binaba na yung taripa. Di ba? Dahil mahal eh. Okay, go ahead.
So in the reverse situation where we have oversupply, first step, itigil mo yung MAB, lilipat sila sa Atiga, parang tariff increase na rin yon. Pero kung dumagsa pa rin yung imports, yung solution dyan, yung safeguards. No? This is the next topic. Short na lang po. Parang I'm trying to explain na possible mechanism. Hindi po ako nagmamarunong, no? Parang idea lang na baka there is this method, we can improve it, no? Better than what we're doing now where we're banning imports, we're risking retaliation from our trading partners. And our reaction is always reactive, not preventive, and much delayed, no? So, okay, so let's say despite stopping MAU, people shifting to Atiga, dumagsa pa rin yung imports, no? So next slide, please. Next, ang solution dyan, yung safeguards, no? The safeguard provision under RA 8800 allows us to impose a safeguard duty on top of the existing tariff temporarily to address an import surge. No? Nasa batas po yan. No? And the good thing about safeguards, it doesn't have to go through Tariff Commission and CTRM. No? The DA Secretary by himself can impose provisional safeguards immediately. No? Kailangan lang ipakita na unang-una there is a surge. So you compare current imports against historical imports. Then you have to prove that somebody has been harmed by those imports, like rice farmers. So bumagsak na nga presyo ng palay. So maliwanag naman. And you have to prove the connection between the two, the causality. Kasi baka naman bumagsak ang presyo ng palay, baka may ibang rason, hindi yung imports. No? So you have to prove that. No? Next. And next slide. And under RA 8800, no, the Secretary of Agriculture, upon acceptance of a petition, in fact, siya mismo pwedeng mag-initiate ng safeguard petition. No? He can impose provisional safeguard duties that is valid for 200 days. No? Kaya inisip namin, 15, nagsabi nila sa amin kahapon, nag-file na daw sila sa Tariff Commission ng petition to increase it to 35. But that will take time. No? Kung payag na pala sila sa 35, why don't they use this? Itaas na to, magdagdag na ng 20% safeguard duty para yung 15 plus 20, 35 na. No? Anyway, he can withdraw that anytime. No? Kung hindi na kailangan, let's say, na-approve na ng Tariff Commission yung 35, o di i-withdraw na nila yung kuwana. But there is that provision po. Again, mabilis yung action kasi every day na lumilipas na hindi gumagalaw ang DA, ilang magsasaka ang nagdudusa sa presyong mababa. No? Why prolong their misery? No? Ang liwanag naman yung problema yan, di ba? And okay naman ang presyo ng bigas. No? All of the rice that is in the market now was imported before the ban at very low prices. No? All of the local rice is bought from farmers at very low prices. So, raising the tariff now to 35% will not affect retail prices, should not affect retail prices. No? So, and then, ang procedure po niyan is pag okay sa secretary na i-impose yung provisional, ipapasa niya sa Tariff Commission yung kaso. And then the Tariff Commission will make a definitive ruling. It can increase or reduce yung tariff, yung safeguard duty. And you will see there, that is the only time under WTO rules that there is the option to impose a import ban. No? Kung nakita ng Tariff Commission na hindi sapat yung tariff, yung safeguard duty, kailangan may temporary import ban, they can make such a ruling in the Tariff Commission. And that is also incorporated in WTO rules. No? Tayo, wala pang Tariff Commission meeting, nag-import ban na tayo. Magdadasal na lang tayo, hindi magko-complain ng Vietnam at saka Thailand.
Can we get the position paper of the DA regarding the imposition of safeguard measures based on the law?
Yes,
I mean,
Mr.
you don't have to give it now, but can you give it by next week?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I will inform our USEC for policy and planning on this and will provide you the position by next week.
Yeah, I understand. Well, maybe DepDev and the Department of Finance can likewise weigh in on this, no?
Saka, sir,
In effect, what you're saying here is, instead of the import ban announcement, they could have done this.
could be, or
I mean, that's an option. You're
at the
saying.
very least, very discreetly. No, kasi pwede mo naman ipitin yung SPSIC, di ba? Hindi dapat yan ina-announce publicly, no? Kasi bawal nga eh. No? Dapat
No, we're not talking about the SP6. We're talking about safeguard measures.
Yes. But
That's not bawal.
not bawal. Hindi
Kaya
bawal.
nga, yun yung sinasabi ko na sa halip na nag-import ban, this could have been one way of, again, intervening para maprotektahan yung pagpasok, yung local market sa pagpasok ng imported.
Yes. There is no limit to the safeguard duty that you can impose. No? So you can impose 100% safeguard duty.
And what is the basis, what is the criteria to impose safeguards?
It is a safeguard duty that will arrest the import surge and stop the continued harm to local farmers. So very siguro kung paano nila i-compute yan. But it's called a trade remedy. No? Kasi dumagsa yung imports, may napahamak. You try to remedy that through the safeguard duty. No? So the safeguard duty is the level of additional duties that you will add to address that
Siguro,
kind of
siguro naman hindi na kailangan ng kumbaga common sense. Diba? Tayo pinakamalaking importer ng bigas eh.
Yeah.
So obviously may mga maapektuhan nun, di ba? Kumbaga, yung lokal maapektuhan dahil tayo pinakamalaking pag-import. So therefore, logic, pag ikaw ay naglagay ng safeguards, parang, di ba, kapani-paniwala at hindi namang masasabing reckless or, hindi ba? Or walang basis. Di ba? Depende lang kung ano yung motivation, di ba? At ano yung, sino ang interest na pinoprotektahan. Di ba? But of course, again, ang dali sabihin kasi consumer, we have to protect the consumer, etc. Eh, yun na nga, hindi nga eh. Pati consumer, di ba? Agrabyado dahil hindi na bumababa ng nararapat. Okay.
Yeah. So just a final word po. Isang paraan lang ito, no? But definitely by itself, it won't work. Kasi nga, kahit na anong gawin mo sa taripa, kung masyadong matakaw yung mga nasa trader dyan sa gitna, sila ang makikinabang. No? So this has to go hand in hand with our moves against profiteering, smuggling, and then yung alalay from NFA, yung mga ibang kuano. And then very important, monitoring and surveillance of the market, yung data. Kailangan to know when to stop issuing MAVs. You have to have a good handle of the supply situation. No? So kailangan merong parang system, parang sa weather, no? Tinututukan nila, malayo pa, alam na nila. No? And then pagka medyo tumama na, may signal 1, signal 2, signal 3, iba-iba ang response, bawat signal. No? So baka we can devise such a system for not only rice but maybe other products, no? Using MAV and using other complementary measures. Salamat po.
Yes. Well, in that regard, I think there's an ongoing discussion with the economic managers, pati yung Philippine Competition Commission, di ba, na ano nga ba yung constructive cost nung between the sale by the farmers of their palay to the retail prices in the wet markets of rice. Ano yung constructive cost in between? Magkano ba talaga kinikita nung middleman trader, retailer, at ano ang masasabi nating profiteering at ano ang fair return on their investment, di ba? Ano yung term ng SINAG? Constructive cost? Ano yun? Cost structure. Yeah. What is the cost structure once the wholesaler gets it and up to the time that it is transferred to the retailer? Because with that cost structure, then you can determine whether there is profiteering or yun na nga. But is that being undertaken by our economic managers? Is there an effort? Would you understand? Do you agree? Are you familiar with the term?
On the part of DepEd, Mr. Chairman, we are aware of this, but we defer to PCC on this matter.
Yes, but you're the one deciding whether you should, well, not you, but the economic managers are the ones who decide whether we should lift it to 35% or keep it at 15%. So shouldn't that be your concern too? What is precisely the cost structure? Anyway, I can raise this during the budget debates in plenary. So I'm just giving you, hindi man fair warning, but notice that I will raise this. And I hope you will have a ready answer.
This is well noted, Mr. Chairman. We will prepare our
I mean,
answer.
ako kasi, simple lang eh. Di ba? Totoo bang may kumikita ng limpak-limpak at bilyon? Di ba? Dahil sabi nila, magkano ang industriya ng, magkano umiikot na pondo sa palay purchase pa lang? At ano, mga 500 billion, 400 billion annually. Di ba? So, simple lang, di ba? Bakit mataas pa rin? Bakit sa ibang bansa, kaya nilang ibenta ng 30 piso kada kilo ng bigas? Bakit sa atin mataas? Ano ang dahilan? At paano natin papababain? So kung hindi natin alam yung cost structure, paano natin sasabihin na masyadong mataas, masyadong malaki kinikita? Unless, komportable tayo, hindi sila kumikita ng malaki. Tanggapin na lang natin, ganyan talaga ang presyo ng bigas sa Pilipinas. Hindi naman siguro dapat ganun, di ba? But anyway, we will raise that, and I hope you can be able to guide us, the economic managers. I think our plenary debates begin when? Third week of November? Second week of November. No. Okay. Now, tapos na po yung position ng FFF. Meron po buwang ibang nais magbigay ng kanilang position paper? Kasi may mga tanong na ako sa NFA eh. Halimbawa, bakit tinanggal sa inyo yung kapangyarihan ninyo dati? Eh alam ko bakit. Kasi laganap ang katiwalian at pang-aabuso at corruption sa importation, sa trading, retailing, di ba? Horror stories yan eh. Di ba? Yung mga trader, may mga dummy retailer. Di ba? May listahan ng mga retailer, kuno, pero lahat yon hawak talaga ng mga trader. Na kunwari, nagre-retail sila, pero sila rin. Nangyayari rin noon, niriribag. Di ba? In fact, bago tinanggalan kayo ng kapangyarihan, yung mga retailers, yung Grecon, sinasabi, hindi na nga pinapalitan yung sako ng NFA. NFA binibigay sa trader, binibili ng trader, tapos hindi na niriribag. Nandun na sa wet market, NFA rice, pero ang bentahan kukunin sa sako ng NFA, tapos ibebenta ng commercial rice. Di ba? At naubos. Saan ka nakakita? Pinaimbestigahan yung NFA administrator ng Office of the President. Tapos, ang naging desisyon, yung nag-imbestiga doon sa NFA, yun yung tinanggal na USEC. 2017, 2018. Si USEC ni Evasco. Because NFA used to be under the Office of the President. So pinaimbestigahan ni Secretary Evasco yung NFA administrator. USEC niya ang nag-imbestiga. Ang resulta, ang tinanggal yung USEC niya. At ang mga pangyayari nun, niriribag. Na dapat, during lean months, nung mga panahon na yun, during lean months, dapat ang buffer stocking is 30 days. Di ba? of noon. Nung may kapangyarihan pa yung NFA. During the lean months, dapat 30 days. Tama? During regular non-lean months, 15 days. Ang nangyari nun, naging 2 days buffer stock dahil nga binenta sa mga trader yung NFA rice. Kaya tinanggal sa inyo eh. Kasi laganap yung pang-aabuso. Grabe yung corruption. And I know that for a fact because when I ran the NFA as NFA Council Chairman, we filed cases, administrative cases sa 6 regions ng NFA managers. Regions 3, 4, A, NCR, Region 5, Region 6, at Region 9. Tapos, noon, wala pa yung economic sabotage law na 10 million hoarding. Kinumpis ka namin yung mga smuggled na rice, 150 million. Kasama ang BOC. Dineputize natin, di ba? Yung NBI at yung CIDG para mag-raid ng mga 6 na region, pati Region 6. Na yung sa Region 6, galing ang sinabi ng NBI, galing sa warehouse ng NFA, diretso doon sa warehouse ng trader. So yun yung sitwasyon nun. Kaya ako binabanggit yan dahil kaya kayo tinanggalan ng kapangyarihan dahil nga sumobra yung pang-aabuso. Hindi na sumobra, talagang talamak. So ang tanong dyan, bakit natin ibabalik sa inyo? Di ba? Kasi kung ibabalik natin sa inyo, ano ang mga safeguards na kailangan ilagay para yung pang-aabuso na dati ay maiiwasan at hindi na mangyayari. Otherwise, kung walang safeguards, lagi ko inuulit ito, kumuha na lang tayo ng bato, pukpok natin sa ulo natin dahil sakit ng ulo lang ang mangyayari kung ibabalik sa inyo na walang safeguards yung kapangyarihan. No? And that's why, pag-aralan ninyo sa technical working group, number 1, yung citizens participatory audit. Kailangan kasama ang mga private sector, ang mga organisasyon ng mga magsasaka, yung stakeholder na may direktang kinalaman at apektado ng mga patakaran ng NFA, dapat meron silang membership doon sa Citizens Participatory Audit. Yan, ilalagay natin yan. Pangalawa, yung pagka on key, di ba, situations, critical, emergency situations at bibigyan ng kapangyarihan ng DA na mag-import through the food terminal or planters products, kailangan merong terms of reference na maliwanag. Nakasama dyan yung approved budget for contract for importation of rice. Hindi pwedeng sky's the limit. Nung panahon natin, merong approved budget for contract pag bumili ang NFA ng bigas na government to government. At ano yung basehan ng approved budget for contract? Yung average ng 3 rice price monitoring international entities, yung ORIZA, yung Thai Rice, at meron pang isa. In-average out mo, magkano ang world prices ng per metric ton ng 5%, ng 25%? Kung ganito ang halaga, dagdagan natin plus minus $5 to $7 per metric ton. Para yun ang approved budget for contract. Kalahating milyong pisong halaga. Kalahating milyong metro tonelada yung unang bili natin nun, may approved budget for contract. Pero nung in-announce natin na bibili tayo ng kalahating milyong metro tonelada, 3 weeks later, nagdagdag ng $30 per metric ton na sa world market. So, lampas dun sa aming approved budget for contract. So the NFA Council decided, dahil lampas, reject. Ni-reject natin. For the first time sa 42-year history ng NFA, nag-reject ng overpriced na imported na bigas. The following week, bumaba ng $30 per metric ton ang presyo ng bigas sa world market. Ang una sinasabi sa akin ng NFA noon, mga old hand, sabi, hindi natin pwede i-reject. Wala tayong choice. Dahil kailangan natin yung bigas. Ang sabi ko sa kanila, yan na nang naging dahilan ng taon-taon na kailangan natin yung bigas kahit overpriced ng napakataas. Sabi ko, hindi. Malaki tayong buyer. At pagka hindi binili yung kanilang bigas, babagsak ang presyo nun. After 6 months, 3 months, gusto rin nilang ibenta. So malaki tayong buyer, pag sinabi natin babaan ninyo yung presyo, papayag yan, malaki tayong buyer eh. And true enough, when we open the process, may approved budget for contract, may proseso, every time ni-reject natin, 4 na beses natin ni-reject. 4 na beses din nila binaba. Thailand and Vietnam. At dahil 4 na beses binaba, sa loob ng isang taon, 7 billion ang hindi natin ginastos, dagdag. So kayang gawin. Pero kinakailangan ayusin yung terms of reference ng inyong mga kapangyarihan. So can you respond? Ano ang magiging basehan natin para ibalik sa inyo yung kapangyarihan at hindi mauwi sa dating gawin?
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, no, and for the opportunity to explain kung ano naman po yung gagawin natin to minimize, if not eliminate, yung mga dating mga horror stories. In fact, when I assume talagang horror stories po, marami nating narinig na po. Una po natin ginawa, tinuloy natin yung modernization ng National Food Authority. Ito yung pagsasaayos ng mga warehouses and other facilities where ang lahat ng sistemang ito ay interconnected. Meaning at the tip of your finger, malalaman mo kung ano po ang nangyayari sa mga warehouses, sa rice mills, with corresponding CCTVs para po ma-monitor natin talaga ang nangyayari sa baba. Labas-pasok ng truck, pati plate number, kita po dito sa central office. Yun pong mga ganong operation. That's one. Pangalawa po yung ating mga standard operating procedures. Obsolete. Karamihan po. Obsolete. Hindi nakasunod ang organization sa pagbabago ng panahon. Ang dami po mga practices na ako mismo ay nasa shock. Sabi ko, bakit inilagay itong mga ganitong patakaran or SOPs? Na talagang parang ang term ko nga, parang ginawa niyong legal ang corruption. Yun ang term ko. So, binabago po natin lahat ito. Although, we must admit, hindi po ganong kabilis dahil napakarami po nitong review and technical working group and another review, etc., etc. But we have started since last year, Mr. Chair. Another aspect po dito itong ating mga retooling at ating mga hiring ng mga bagong empleyado. Sa ngayon po, may i-hire tayo at least mga more than 500 pa na empleyado to complement our operation. Ito yung mga bata na at the same time maturuan ng mga tamang proseso at mga attitude towards work. Pangatlo, susunod po, ano pong ginawa natin? Siguro for the first time, I will be telling this kasi sabi ko nga, I would like to be fair with everyone in NFA. Hindi naman po sila lahat at kakaunti lang naman po itong masasama.
Allow me to place that on record also. You know, yung 2 taon nating nagtrabaho dyan sa NFA, maraming talagang mga mahuhusay, dedicated, at talagang dinedicate ang kanilang buhay sa public service sa usapin nga nung NFA operation. So I will confirm that. You know, ilan lang itong mga sugapa. No? But yung rank and file ng NFA by and large are dedicated public servants who take pride, no, in being the rice supply SARS, di ba, of the country. But go ahead, go ahead.
At tama po, salamat po Mr. Chair. So ano po yung ginagawa natin dito since last year? In-intensify po natin yung audit. Out of this audit, nagkaroon po ng mga investigations at nagkaroon po ng mga filing of administrative cases and criminal cases. No? Siguro, kiningi ko lang sa aking Legal Affairs Department yung actual na standing ng datos ngayon. At if I, roughly, mga 40 katao ang na-issuehan ko na or na-charge ko na ng administrative cases. Around 60 people, hindi pa kasama yung isineserve ngayon na show cause orders. Around 60 show cause orders ang na-issue na po natin yan. May mga finailan din po tayo ng kaso sa labas, sa korte, of which yung isa po ngayon ay nakakulong, no? Na-issue ng warrant of arrest at ngayon nakakulong at ma-arraign na rin po siya. And we are also building up cases for another 2 more mga talamak na nakita natin. Out of these audits, no po, ito po ginagawa natin with strict adherence to due process. That's why hindi po, kung maririnig ako sa mga interview, hindi ko po masyadong sinasabi ito madalas dahil nga po innocent until proven guilty. But we are dead serious in cleaning and putting back the NFA into the right track. And I know we are succeeding. Hindi po ganun kadali po, pero we will not waver in our dedication to really put back NFA where it belong, na talagang nakakatulong sa ating mga sambayanan at wala na po tayong masyadong maririnig na mga horror stories. Salamat po.
Right now, ano ang capacity ng NFA para mag-intervene sa rice trading, yung palay purchases?
Yun pong ating participation sa actual production, kasi nilalagay po lagi sa 20 million metric tons. Ang target po natin sa palay procurement ay 900,000 metric tons. So that's roughly 4.5%. Yun po yung nasa batas na minandato po sa atin. And at the same time, yun po yung binigay na budget. Although yung budget po na binigay, hindi po sasapat para ibilhin yung 900,000 metric tons. But we're trying our best para pagkasyahin po doon.
The challenge kasi there, dahil wala na kayo sa retail, di ba? Yung inyong stocks, aging stocks, parami ng parami. So kung kayo bibili, saan nyo dadalhin? Di ba? Kasi ang daing ng ating mga rice farmers ay hindi na bumibili ang NFA. So 4.5% na nga lang ang inyong presensya, hindi nyo pa ma-implementa ng tama dahil nga sa ilang mga lugar, sinasabi ng mga magsasaka, sabi ng NFA, wala na kaming paglalagyan ng palay dahil puno ang aming mga bodega. So, at therefore, yung kokonti na lang na porsyento ng inyong presensya sa merkado ng pagbibili ng palay, hindi pa na-implementa ng maayos. Ano ang solusyon dun sa ngayon, ha? Alam ko, itong pag-amenda ng batas kasama sa solusyon. Pero sa ngayon, paano nag-i-intervene ang... And, kung bibigyan namin kayo ng dagdag na kapangyarihan, ano? Hindi kaya mas lalo lang dumami yung aging stocks ninyo at hindi ninyo maayos.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Doon po sa aspeto na anong gagawin natin, no? Kasi halos na puno yung bodega natin at yung 4.5%, hindi pa ho natin nare-reach. Let me explain po bakit hindi natin ma-absorb yung the remainder nung 4.5% na yan. Dahil nga po dito sa ating modernization, around 128 warehouses were subjected to rehabilitation. Hindi pa po kasi tapos lahat yun. Pero kung yun po ay tapos na lahat, very easily we can absorb that 900,000 metric tons. Yun po yung naging dahilan nun. Now, ano po yung solusyon? At this time, yun nga po yung hinihingi namin na sana Dahil napaka-limited po ng aming collection, no, corporate receipt, wala po kaming pangrenta ng private warehouses. Kasi in-exhaust na po namin lahat ng mga local government units na pwedeng magpahiram. And in fact, yung iba pa nga hong pinahiram sa amin, it turned out evacuation centers nung mga nagbabagyo, gusto pa ho kaming paalisin, ang dami, 100,000 bags, etc. Sabi ko, parang ang hirap naman. So private warehouses na nga po ang aming pinagtutuunan ngayon. But since our budget is limited, nangingi po tayo ng suporta dyan sa ating Pangulo, doon nga through the executive order, na mabigyan po sana tayo ng agarang na panggastos dyan para at least makadagdag po ng capacity at makapamili po tayo. Another action po na ginagawa natin ay yung milling po ng ating mga palay. Alam naman natin, pag minil natin yan, ginawang bigas, 32% ipa, mawawala dyan. So, mapi-free up. So, pinapaspasan po natin yan. Kaya lang, just for everyone's information, may mga challenges din po sa mga milling. I don't know, minsan, wala pong nakikipag-bid sa amin na mga private millers. So, talagang tiyagaan na lang, ika nga, no? Kanya nga po talaga napakahalaga nitong modernization ng NFA where pagdating ng araw, we will not rely on private sector's milling services, kundi lahat ay kayang gawin ni NFA sa sarili niyang bakuran na hindi na kailangan gumastos ng logistics cost papunta sa private millers or private dryers. So, yun po yung ating mga ginagawa sa ngayon at patuloy na gagawin hanggang po sa 2028. And hopefully, we will turn over a very healthy and very efficient NFA.
Balikan ko lang, no? Yung, ano yung mandate ninyo sa buffer stocking? Ilang araw?
Sa ngayon po, dun sa 12078, it is defined na dapat meron kang optimal level of buffer stock and the definition says optimal is 15 days.
So you currently have a buffer stock of 15 days?
Yun po yung target, nasa 12 days po tayo ngayon.
Okay. Now, of the 4.5% that you can purchase, magkano ang actual na na-purchase na ninyo for 2020? Kasi ang second half nitong anihan, ang pinakabulto eh. So, meron pa kayong pang-purchase nung second half?
Yes po, Mr. Chair, meron pa po tayong around 6 billion to purchase around 4 million bags.
Okay, so may mga concern na ang mga binibilhan ninyo ng palay ay mga trader din. Ibig sabihin, binili na nila sa farmer, tapos lalapit sa inyo para ibenta yung binili nila sa farmer. In fact, pinadala ko ata kay Secretary Kiko yun eh, yung YouTube ng barangay captain sa Isabela na galing pa daw ng Tabuk at pinapasok truck ng bigas papunta sa NFA. So ang kanilang daing, bakit binibili ng NFA sa trader, hindi sa mga farmer yung palay at yung bigas?
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Actually, yan po ay aking narinig na rin. Hindi lang isang beses, maraming beses na po na naririnig natin yan na from traders daw ang pagbili ng NFA. Now, dito po sa mga audit na ginagawa natin, lumilitaw po yung sinasabing mga trader. May mga documents, meaning may dalang RSBSA registration ng mga magsasaka. So, doon po nahihirapan ng NFA. Paano niya ita-turn down? Kasi ang nasa rule, pag may nakita RSBSA registered or MAU certification, hindi na po namin matatanggihan. So what we did, ako po mismo, I have issued an order to all warehouses procuring palay to be more transparent. Lagay ninyo lahat sa bulletin board, kahit sa FB pages ninyo, sino yung mga binilhan ng palay para mas scrutinize na magsasaka. Pangalawa, nagpalagay po ako ng table, farmer's table. Kahit na sino magsasaka, maliit na magsasaka, or kung sino mang representative ng organization, pwede nyo pong panoorin yung pagbili ng palay ng NFA para kung sakaling ganon, may problema, i-report nyo po sa amin. So, those are the measures that we are doing right now. I don't know if it's sufficient, pero tutuloy-tuloy po natin yan until pareho po tayo ang ating